I have some good news and I have some not so good news for you to start this episode. The good news is that the online buying space is only continuing to grow by the billions. So last year in the peak period between September 15th and January 15th of buying online in the e-commerce space, the course space, the online learning space, service-based things, all purchases happening on the interwebs, the hundreds of billions of dollars that exchanged hands, that was record year last year. And this year, 2024, is expected to beat that. So you're not too late. The market's not oversaturated. There aren't too many people doing your thing. In fact, there aren't enough people doing your thing and doing it well and doing it with integrity and with heart and with intention. So look at all the clothing brands out there. Look at all the jewelry lines. Look at all the various types of yogurts and breads. I mean, we could go down every single industry. There's a lot of everything, but most of it's shit. Even if you went and took a look inside your closet and you started going through your clothes, you'd go, you know what? Unless you're someone who's already really weeded out that closet of yours, but most of it, you'd go, a lot of this is low quality. It's crap. It doesn't fit right. That's why I don't wear it. I don't even know why I'm hanging on to it. So there is plenty of room for people who actually give a shit about what they do and know how to package and price and present their offers in a way so that your ideal clients are eager and excited to actually get it and join and buy the thing and hire you instead of being filled with more excuses. So the bad news is the reason why people aren't buying from you is you do have something that's broken when it comes to your marketing of your business, but we're going to fix that today. I'm going to get you on a head start. And before we get in there, I want to let you know of the big announcement. I have, and I've never done this before, a one-time only free live training that I am doing so that you can get yourself all prepped and all the odds stacked in your favor to have ideal clients buying from you on repeat during this peak money making season of how to showcase your offers so that they're a must buy from your people instead of a someday option. It's happening on August 28th, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/special training. Swipe up. It's in the show notes. It's also in the description on YouTube. And it's in my link in bio on TikTok and Instagram at Project Me with Tiffany. The live spots are limited to 500 people max. So we already, at the time of me recording this, we have over 100 people signed up, and it's just been announced just hours ago. Everyone who signs up will get access to the replay for 10 days, and then I will start charging for it. So for some reason, you can't make that time live and you can't prioritize it, which I would if I were you. If you've ever been to any of my trainings, you know I deliver the goods. But if not, you have that replay access, but you have to be registered. So pause, go do that now, come back to the episode. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Full disclosure, I may or may not have spent the day at the pool, and I may or may not have had several Aperol spritzes. So, yeah, there's that. We're going to start when it comes to this whole thing of what do I say when I'm talking about my service, my offering, my products? What am I supposed to do? And you feel like you're talking about it incessantly, but then the people aren't coming, or you're just having them trickle in. And you're wondering when you see someone like me or other people in your industry who are selling out group programs, courses, and there's hundreds and there's thousands of people buying from them. And you know what you have is good, and you know you're good at what you do. And in fact, you might even low key be like, my shiz is better than this person's. And this person is getting so many sales and so many people joining. You may even have free stuff that you've put out there, and people aren't even signing up for that, which is a real mind fuck. I want you to know I've been there. and tons and tons and tons of people who come to me from all different industries have been there as well. Unless you have truly been taught and have practiced and had studied and have implemented true marketing messaging, especially in the way I teach it with my famous emotional based sales techniques. So it feels good to you. It's not like some slimy, scammy, manipulative messaging, like where you're truly selling based on emotions and transformation and relatability and understanding and having your ideal client feel seen, heard, and understood by you. Why would you know how to do this? This is an actual skill. Like, I've been studying this and doing this for years, both for my own companies and for brands of all different sizes, from startups to multi mega billion dollar brands that are household names. So I don't want you to compare yourself to my messaging and what I'm teaching you today. Cause you're like, God, Tiffany like has that rattle off her tongue and it sounds so easy to her. Well, this is my area of expertise. And I have broken it down so that I can teach it to you. And this is going to give you a head start today. But what is going to complement this episode and have you bring in the cash and clients is you prioritizing attending the free live training I'm doing. It's a one-time only training. I've never done this before live. I've taught this to private clients before and big institutions, but never globally live. On August 28th, I would make sure you get in there, projectmewithtiffany.com/special training. Once those live spots are full, we're not going to be adding anymore. And it's first come, first serve. 1/5 of them are already gone. And this has only been announced on like one of my platforms in the last several hours. So I want to make sure you prioritize that, because if you continue to kind of ignore the messaging and just go, oh, well, I'll kind of say something similar to this person, or well, I'm, using my intuition and I'll talk about this today. And then I'll talk about this from my ass. If you are not totally clear in what your offer does for somebody, where it takes them from and gets them to, and you don't have that clarity, you don't have that conviction, and that comes across in your energy when you're talking, when you're writing, when you're sharing about your stuff. And if you don't have that conviction, you don't come across as confident or even excited about your offers. And therefore, why would anyone feel confident or excited and drawn to buy it? And I know it sounds so obvious once you're hearing that, but I had to spell that out for you. We want to make your offers go from invisible to irresistible, right? So that your business is unmissable among the sea of stuff that's out there. I know how shitty that feels when you are putting out all the content, pouring your heart out, and you have good shit. And you're like, what is going on? And then you see people that seemingly are buying from shim sham sharami people. Well, let me tell you about these shim sham sharami people. A lot of them are experts at that kind of manipulative marketing, or they use NLP, neuro linguistic programming. This is something that I learned when I came on the scene of bringing my gifts, passions, talents, and skills online. I'd never heard of this NLP stuff. There's a lot of shit I'd never heard of because my other business is a B2B business. And I learned very quickly, thankfully quickly, that even though this NLP stuff can be used for good when you're helping people and coaching people with certain things, there's a lot of people that use it as a form of manipulation and fantasy marketing to get you to buy. And now I can spot it after years of seeing it. I mean, in the beginning, I was like, why am I so drawn to this person? Why can't I stop watching? But I don't even know what the fuck this person is saying. Like, I know they're kind of circle talking me, but I feel like I'm mesmerized and they've got something I think I need, but I don't even know what it is they have. And none of it's really solid or clear, but like I feel like I need to buy it. That's likely someone who's using NLP to get you to buy. It's just like what happens in real life, right? You could go to a car dealership, you could go be looking for a home, you could go into a store and wanting to buy like a piece of jewelry. And there are people who will be salespeople. That's their job, right? To present their shares, wares, and gifts and services. And there's people who do it with integrity, and there's people that do it with shady tactics. Guess what? Both fucking work, right? Like, the people in the mall, kiosk people that you get attacked by when you go through the mall, they're still there because guess what? That tactic sells enough shit for them to pay the rent for that kiosk. It probably doesn't feel good to you. And that's my first point here. If it's something that doesn't feel good to you, I don't give a shit who is teaching it. I don't even care if it's me who's teaching it. If it doesn't feel of integrity to you, doesn't feel good in your body, if you don't like having an offer, a product, a service discussed with you in that certain way, then I certainly don't want you using it. Remember, like attracts like. So what you gravitate to, what you appreciate, what grosses you out, what weirds you out, what makes you feel icky is what's going to make your ideal client feel the same way. Typically, once people reach me, I get people who are so thankful they found me and they found me early and they got lucky. Then there's the other half of people who find me after they've bought into and spent all this money on all these other programs that were a bunch of circle talk, and there was no actual tangible things for them to apply to their business in order to get the results. And that's because there was fantasy marketing involved. So just remember that there's a lot of people who have incredible marketing, and then you can go end up getting your hair colored and get extensions and spend $2,000 and end up looking horrible, but their marketing was like top tier and very alluring and even perhaps misleading, which we're not about that life over here. So rule one is I want you to make sure what you're doing and how you're presenting your offers, read your stuff out loud. And I'm going to give you examples and everything today. So don't worry. You're going to have a great first step in the right direction, in the profitable direction after listening to this episode. But everything that you do, I need you to read it out loud. It's a journalism trick that I learned in broadcast journalism school. Shout out Emerson College in Boston. And when you read it out loud, you'll go, oh my God, you'll start laughing. Like I start laughing now. I might be typing something or writing something, and then I go to read it when I put it on a page or something, and I'm like, what in the hell? I would never say that in real life. That's not even how I talk. And a lot of you who came from or still in the corporate world and have the jobby job life where you have to write things like, to whom it may concern, as per my last email, let's circle back on that. You know what? Let's table that for next week. I could keep going. I know all of them. I was just thinking of the ones when I was really resentful and really wanting to get out. And I was like so irritated. So I would come up with phrases that were really like polite way of saying fuck off, but you didn't know I was saying fuck off. Like it would be me saying, as we discussed last week at our 11 a.m. meeting when we reviewed this topic, and then as we also discussed again 2 days later when we reviewed a similar topic, basically saying, this has been talked about many times. What's your problem? Anyway, so you're in that corporate lingo, corporate dance, even a certain profession that you're in that has a lot of semantics, right? Like you're in accounting, you're in the legal world, you're in the insurance world, real estate world. Using all that kind of jargon is typically a big turnoff. Okay, there's always exceptions to the rules, but also using this really super polished professional language that is not going to build trust. And sales is all about trust. And the beautiful thing online and why this online space continues to grow is because it's so refreshing when people get to come across other people, other human beings, and they get to hear about products from them. They get to hear about services from them. I mean, since when in time have we had all this access to the person we wanted to hire, or we could listen to tons and tons of podcast episodes on them to vet them? We could binge watch their videos. We could even direct message them all while we're wearing our pajamas to see that if it's a great fit and see if we vibe them and their personality and their style and their authority in the space. It's incredible. And so you have to make sure that you are positioning yourself truly as you and not this polished corporate you, the job interview you, or as I like to call my version of that, newscaster Tiff, because that's not who you are. And it's like you're putting a wall up when you talk like that. So all that goes out the window here as I'm going into these examples. So I'm going to repeat a few things so I can recap for you the main points, right? Point number one is speak to your people as you like to be spoken to, as you appreciate hearing about offers and services, etc. Okay. Second thing is you're going to read all your stuff out loud. Some of you right now, and when I say some, I mean all of you, literally, need to go to your sales pages, to your website, to your captions and your social media posts, to your emails, and read the stuff out loud. And you're going to be horrified and start laughing. Like, would you really talk like that in real life? I bet you anything you'll go, it sounds stiff. It can kind of come across insincere. It comes across cold. It comes across flat. And we want depth because the deeper you go, the dollars will flow. That's why literally in one video alone last year, when we opened up to the public for my 2-day ProjectME Mastermind experience, we had either 4 or 5 people buy immediately from one video. And they said right in the mastermind, they had never met me before. They'd never heard about me before, because we have the power now in video of they're like mini high level infomercials that are all out there selling for you. So you don't have to. And when it's done right and it's done sincerely, someone's like, I feel like I'm just talking to you. Like I just had a conversation with you. Like I'm in, give me your money. So for the 2-day mastermind, speaking of which, this is almost sold out. And this is the final chance for you to get the pre-launch sale of $1,000 off. Like literally the final hours are right now. You have to go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. That is in the show notes and here in the description on YouTube, on Project Me TV. It's also in the link in bio on my Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. So that is ending. And then we are doing ads to it and it opens up like worldwide. And that's when the spots go really quickly. So I don't want you to miss out on that. That's where you really are wanting to escalate and really get to the results of the cash and the clients and have your business set up so that it's scalable, where it doesn't require more of you in order to make more money. And learning in person in 2 full days with me and my ProjectME Dream Team, I mean, that is literally worth tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. And you're paying a fraction of the cost to have that expertise and all those eyes on your business. So you don't just walk away with a bunch of information and then you do nothing with it except get overwhelmed with it. You're walking away knowing exactly what you need to do in your business and what you need to say so that you have people buying your offers on repeat, and what other types of offers you need to have in order to offer stack, which is something that I teach at my mastermind, so that you have that same one person isn't just buying from you one time and done. You want that same one person buying multiple offers from you, because the thing that costs the most in terms of marketing, in terms of business, is getting that client initially to buy, whether it's a book, whether it's a mastermind, whether it's a retreat, whether it's a necklace, whatever it is, that one time. So you want to make sure that that experience is so good for that person and that your other offers are set to complement each other so that they buy more things from you. That's where you really end up taking your business to a whole nother level. And a lot of you are like sitting on a gold mine. Okay. Just reminding you, 3% of your audience is ready to buy from you at any given time. So if you look at, let's say your TikTok, your YouTube, your Instagram, take 3% of that. If it's your email list, I'd take 10% of that to be conservative, is ready to buy from you at any given time. So 3 out of 100 or 10 out of 100. If that is not happening for you, you absolutely have a messaging problem that is worth you doing whatever you can to invest in learning how to fix that from someone who has that experience and who's going to set it to you straight. So let's give some examples here of what doesn't work and what you're likely doing. Okay. And yes, I have notes for this, and I'm impressed that I have them pulled up on my phone. Here's what doesn't work. Okay. Feature heavy without benefits being mentioned marketing. Okay. So example, our program includes 20 hours of video content, 27 worksheets, and weekly webinars. Why this doesn't work? This focuses too much on the features without explaining how they will benefit the user or solve their problem. It's not emotionally engaging. And a lot of you get real obsessed with how many modules something has, or how inexpensive something is, or what a deal it is, or that you get a buy one, get one. No, not approved by me. Next thing, overly generic statements. This is incredibly common, I noticed, with my multi-passionate entrepreneurs, my creatives, my healers. Here's an example. Our service is the best on the market. This will up-level your life in so many different ways. This will expand your consciousness and release the new you within. That you see what I'm saying? Even how I said it. I say it like that in that voice because it means nothing. Now, the only way you can get away with that is if you're a sociopath and a scammer and you're doing fantasy marketing and you're doing that stuff I was talking about at the beginning of the show, which my guess is if you're listening to this episode, you're not interested in doing that. Why this doesn't work, it lacks the specifics. So it's not connecting to your audience's emotions because it's so generic. Think of, and I actually just said this the other night to Mike, and it was really funny. I don't know what I was watching, but it was someone who was giving on a date a lot of generic compliments like, oh, you're great. You're a hard worker. Oh, what do you think's great about me? You're a hard worker. You put a lot of attention to detail. It's like very generic compliments. Does that give you the tingles? No. And I'm laughing because that's like what Mike does, but he does it because it's a Spectrum-y situation. But that's what he does. If I ask him, what do you appreciate about me? He'll say that you appreciate me. It's like, that's not what I was getting at. So you've got to go deeper with the statements for it to really give your audience the emotions. And I'm going to give you the other side of these on what works, but I wanted to start with what doesn't work because I think that's what's going to wake you up. I can barely talk. I told you I had Aperol spritzes. Just bear with. Next one. Overpromising or unrealistic claims. Oh, don't get me started on this. Make $1 million in 30 days. You can lose 30 pounds in 45 days with this one magic pill. Or how about my least favorite one is Botox in a bottle? That, it's like, okay, first of all, if you want to work with people that are somewhat grounded and aren't looking for a get rich quick, get skinny quick, some kind of a shortcut, I'm not willing to do the work. Entitled, if you don't want to work with these entitled type people, then don't do marketing like this because that's what you're going to attract. And it doesn't work because it comes across as scammy. It leads to distrust, and it doesn't address any real concerns or desires from your person, right? Like it's so surface and it's so gross Yet I know you guys see it all the time, and I'm so fucking tired of it. And if you're tired of it, your ideal client's tired of it too. And I know we see people who do it and it looks like they're making a lot of coin from doing it. I'm seeing a lot of these people with this master resale rights situation doing this stuff. And I see a lot of people in network marketing fall into this. But let me tell you something. We have no idea what they're making. My guess is they're not making that money. That's why they're using scammy marketing. And even if they were making money, that's dirty money. I want to be able to feel good and sleep at night. I don't want to be making money because I manipulated someone to buying something that they thought was some magic potion and snake oil, right? Lack of emotional appeal. Here's a very good example for what a lot of you guys do with your free stuff, like your freebies. Sign up for our newsletter for regular updates. That is not hot. That's what I mean by emotional appeal. Not approved. You know, it would be like me talking about the special free live training I'm doing. It's one time only where I am teaching you how to structure your offer so that it's a must buy for people instead of a maybe. Like that's it right there. But imagine if I just said sign up for my free live training. It's going to really change your business. What? That's not going to get anyone anywhere. This doesn't convey like an emotional benefit or a reason for your audience to engage. It's bland, right? It's uninspiring, and you're uninspired saying it. That's also the problem is energetically when you do the method of me saying to say it out loud, you'll be able to tell in your body energetically like, am I excited saying this? This isn't even how I talk. Negative or fear based without a solution. So your business is failing and you're wasting your time. You can't lose weight no matter what you do. You're in a constant state of a spin cycle and you're stuck every single day and you don't know how to get out of it. Okay. Now, if that one is like, okay, like you might be relating to your audience, right? So I could see how that could have started off with a good intention because it acknowledges the problem, but it's too negative and doesn't offer hope or a solution. So just staying in the negative, you're going to attract victimy people because they want to stay in the negative. They kind of want to stay stuck, even though they say they don't, but they do. And so you're going to attract a lot of content vampires, right? A lot of people who will engage in your content, but they never end up buying from you because they're not seeing the possibility. They are just sitting and sinking into the pain. So now let's flip the script on all of this. And I hope I'm not overwhelming you. And I feel like I'm barely pronouncing words correctly. I feel like I'm getting more buzzed as I'm talking. And I only had 2.5 spritzes, but if I'm being honest, the size of the glass was rather large. That's like when someone goes, I just have like a glass of wine at night, but the glass of wine is like the size of their head. You're like, sweetie, you drink a half a bottle every night. Like, let's be real. Here's what works. And so you have the receipts in case you're new to me. I've been doing this for 16 years. My emotional based sales techniques have been massaged, have been featured, have been taught to well over 150,000 people worldwide. They are responsible for over $250 million in sales transactions. So, in case you needed a reminder that this shit works, I've taught this in over 79 different industries. And I know what a lot of you do, especially my product based business people. You'll go, well, how does this apply to my product based business? Or how does this apply to my unique industry? This applies to every single possible industry you could imagine. We're talking to humans. We all have emotions. This is what we're talking about: emotional relatability, emotional based selling. We forget you're typing stuff and you're sharing stuff on a device, but who's reading that stuff on the device on the other line? It's one person. It's not a group of people staring at a phone. It's the one person. That's why I tell you, you need to know your ideal client as well as you know your best friend, what makes them laugh, what makes them cry, what makes them cringe, what pisses them off, what irritates them, what are secrets that they don't tell anyone, what are their darker thoughts that they are too embarrassed to share, what are their desires that they really, really have when you strip all the pleasantries and all the politically correct bullshit away of what they really want at core. You know that about your best friend. I hope so. Or you know that about your partner. You need to know that about your ideal client. Okay, first thing, empathy and relatability. Example, you've worked hard to build your business, but it feels like you're still chained to your desk, trading all your time for money. Imagine finally having the freedom to spend time with your family without worrying about your business falling apart when you decide you're going to take even a few days off. Now, if you go back and listen, it took me more words to get to this because it's more detail and it's more specific. So that's okay. I just want you to know that that's not like you don't want to just overly word things just to do that. But in order to be more descriptive, just like when I gave the example of like the compliment when you're dating someone, instead of just telling someone, I think you're great, right? Like really listing out why you think they're great and being specific, it takes a little longer. It actually takes a little more effort to do so, but it lands much better, doesn't it? And this works because this messages acknowledges the audience's pain and offers a vision of a life they desire. This creates an emotional connection and makes them go, yes, like she gets me, right? Go look at my page for my one time only free live training event that I'm doing for you. And I'm doing it for free, not because I'm like, oh, it's going to be some sales fest. Anyone who's been to any of my live trainings, which by the way, I've only done one other this entire year. This is not something I do all the time. They're rare because I do them out of a space of abundance. It's about what I give, not what I receive. If people choose to invest and go deeper to get results faster with me, excellent. If not, I want you there regardless because what I teach you, you're going to walk away knowing and really understanding what tweaks you need to make in your messaging that is going to open the floodgates of sales is what's happening in there. I just did it for you now, literally. Like I just gave a live example of the empathy and relatability. Because I highly doubt you want to sit there and keep pouring out more content. You feel like all you're doing is talking about your offers. And let me tell you something, talking about them more and sharing about them more and posting more and sending more emails, that's not going to get you any more sales, nor is advertising. Fears and pains. This is what works. Are you tired of pouring money into marketing that doesn't deliver? It's time to invest in a strategy that actually works, giving you the security and peace of mind you deserve, knowing that what you're saying with your offers will turn into great sales with great clients. See how much longer that is, but very clear. This taps into the fear of wasting money and the desire of financial security, and you're positioning the offer as a solution. So if we use it as a common fear of people is, I'm afraid this isn't going to work in any industry. I'm afraid if I sign up for this retreat and it's to help with anxiety and inner child healing, I'm afraid I'm going to go and I'm going to invest all this time and energy and money and then it's not going to work. I'm afraid if I go to Tiffany's mastermind, I know she's great, but what if it doesn't work for me? And I've signed up for other things in the past and it didn't work for me. You need to list out all the fears of your ideal client, which by the way, are the same fears you have. You attract what you've got going on inside. So if you're playing cheap with your business and you've not really invested more money in your business and making big, bolder money moves in your business and investments, why the fuck would your ideal client make a big, bold investment in you? I paused for a dramatic effect there. Really, when I make big, bold moves in my business, as scary as it is, the abundance always comes back to me many times over again. Certainly not in my ego's timing. I'll tell you that. Of course we want it. We want it now. I want to see the results, the proof right now, but it always comes back. I've been doing this long enough with enough people. It does come back. But when you play cheap and or you try to get away with toe dipping, but you want the full ass results, that's when you're going to have a lot of trouble. And for some reason, I felt like there was someone who needed to hear that today. And that's one of the main messages I also really convey when it comes to my mastermind, because a lot of you know at this point in the year, if you've been kind of toe dipping, really not making big moves and it's not paying off by this point in the year. And the last thing you want is going into peak money making season online and not having things shifted and adjusted. So you get at least a micro slice of that multi-billion dollar pie. Okay. And you need to course correct in a very strong way. And you want to be able to jump several rungs ahead. You come in person with me. Okay. Period. End of story. You know where to go for all the links. They're in the show notes. You can swipe up. You can also go on YouTube in the description at ProjectME TV and on my link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at ProjectME. ProjectME with Tiffany. Oh my God, I almost forgot my handle. Wow. And no, there's been no gummy. No gummy. Just saying. But I feel like there has. Okay, let's go into highlighting the desired transformation, is what I'm calling it. Example, what if you could double your revenue while cutting your work week in half? Our program is designed to help you achieve the lifestyle that you've always wanted while being able to maintain the abundance that you deserve. So what this does is it paints a vivid picture of the desired transformation, appealing to the ideal client's aspirations for success and freedom, right? So in other non-money related niches, because I know that's what's going to happen from this. Well, Tiff, you gave a lot of examples around money. We can fine. Let's apply this to health, improved health, weight loss, having energy. Okay. What if you could get the energy back that you had when you were 25 years old and be able to do it in a safe way and in a natural way where it's sustained and you never have to worry about losing that energy again and your zest for life comes back. That was from my ass. From my ass. Okay. So let's look at it. If we're talking about healing in relationships and you feel very alone and you're all over the place and you want to work with someone who does Reiki or some kind of healing breath work and there's a retreat. What if the answer to you feeling that inner serenity, feeling secure instead of anxious, feeling that you can trust yourself is closer than you could ever imagine? That it's just that you've never learned how to truly tap into your higher self and access your inner guide. And once you learn how to do that, you will never feel that codependent anxiety, that anxious attachment, being riddled with insecurity and not knowing what to do ever again, because you'll always have a grounded knowing once you learn this. And that's exactly what you will experience at my retreat. Again, from my ass. So it was a little wordy because I didn't have that in my notes written down, but I wanted to speak to that loud brain of some of you who are like, well, I get how it applies to something like when you're helping people with business or with money, but how does it apply to other things? I know you. I know how you guys think. Creating urgency and exclusivity. Now, you've probably heard the term scarcity. I don't love the term scarcity. I've used it before because it's a term that is used like in school. Like, it's a term that's used in the marketing world. I prefer the terms urgency and exclusivity. There is a limited window to join our community of high achieving healers who are breaking free from the grind, who are no longer trading time for money and able to use their gifts to help millions of people instead of just helping 12 people a week. Don't miss your chance to transform your business, your life, and the lives of everyone you are meant to help and heal. Do you see what I'm saying? Why this works. Urgency and exclusivity create a fear of missing out. It's that FOMO thing. It's compelling the audience to act quickly. And I said this with my one time only free live training, and it has to be true. Okay. Don't say shit that isn't true. I have 2 spots left when you have 14. Not approved. Energy doesn't lie unless you're a narcissist or a sociopath or have some other disorder where you're able to somehow believe your own shit enough to do that. But you're not going to feel good doing that. That's going to feel insincere. It's going to feel fake. You're going to know it's a lie. Imposter syndrome will come up. You'll start feeling like a fraud and you'll repel all the abundance. And let me tell you something. We've all done it. I'm going to just say it. All of us have done it. All of us have been in a bind before. All of us have gotten in our ego where we're like, oh my God, no one's buying. What's going on? I need to do something. I need to do more. We've all done it because desperate people do desperate things. And guess what? And the desperation comes from ego, comes from fear, comes from scarcity, and does not work. It does not end well. So my one time only free live training is truly one time only. This is not ever happening again, right? And the spots to attend the live are limited. There's a max of 500 because this is live on Zoom, and over 100 people have already signed up just from me announcing it just a few hours before I had my pool time with my Aperol spritzes. So it's already going really quickly. Now, everyone who signs up will be able to get the replay for 10 days, and then I will be charging for it. So that's sincere. So that didn't feel gross to you. The only reason it feels gross when you see other people saying things, it's gross because likely it's not fucking true what they're saying. Or they're scammy. And so their energy is scammy and they're shim sham sharami. And I don't think that's who you are, right? Like you might be worried about coming across when you do the urgency stuff and the exclusivity stuff. You know, like even with my mastermind event, it's like it's half sold out. It's maxed out. This is an in-person event. Like I can't just add more people. Like literally the fire marshal will get called. And we're having it at a multi-million dollar house. And there are rules to this house, as there should be. And in order for me to maintain the standards that we have of our premier service here at ProjectME, we can't have too many of you crazy asses there because we have to manage you. And all you guys are nuts because I'm nuts and like attracts like. Okay. So it can feel like that part can feel a little uncomfortable for a lot of you because it can feel like you're selling, but you're not selling in the terms of like in a gross way, as long as what you're saying is sincere. You pick it up from other people you watch online or in real life because it feels gross because they're not being sincere. But if you're a sincere person with a big heart, you're not going to come across that way. Okay. Social proof and success stories. Example. Thousands of entrepreneurs just like you have already transformed their businesses and lives with our program. And they've done this in numerous ways, from being able to get booked on stages all over the world, to putting out a best-selling book, to being able to finally sell out a group program to hundreds of people, netting them millions of dollars. Are you ready to be our next success story? Okay. And you can do that again with any specialty, but giving examples of various levels of success. They don't all have to be like losing hundreds of pounds, millions of dollars, right? I would suggest actually giving a variety, just like when you see all my testimonials on the Mastermind registration page. You go look at all the testimonials that are sitting in the highlight section of my Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. You'll see a variety of levels. It's not, I don't only put the things in there where it's like, oh, I went from being $300,000 in debt, and now my lowest month every month is 50,000. My average month is 75,000. Like, that's true. I have a lot of those people too. But I also have people that go, who hired me starting from scratch, and now they consistently have 3 new clients. Like, that's great. That's still great, right? So I want you to show a variety, because not everyone in your audience is going to connect with the person who has the insane results. Using me as an example, where I recently hired a concierge burnout specialist, like basically a high level, it's more than hormones, but like a high level functional medicine expert. Okay. And if I had only heard of testimonials that were like, and in 3 months, I have all my energy back, and I've lost 30 pounds, and da 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 da. Not saying that can't happen for someone. I wouldn't resonate with that. It sounds way too good to be true to me. And my spidey senses would go up. What would make that sound much more believable to me is if I also saw a wide array of, I'm feeling progressively better as each week goes by in working with Dr. Jordan. And I'm noticing these little differences, and these little differences are starting to compound and add up. And my only regret is that I wish I started this, is that I didn't start this sooner. Because now when you see a variety of these testimonials, now the ones that are like really the big ones where you're like the wow ones, now those don't seem so wackadoo because you've had a variety. I hope that makes sense. But social proof is building trust, and it shows that others have achieved the desired income that are similar to them or in a similar position to them. So it makes the offer more compelling. So now you know exactly what doesn't work and what does work. So let's do some key takeaways, because I know I gave you quite a few examples here. Effective emotional messaging connects with the audience's desires and fears, and you want to offer a clear and appealing transformation. This does not mean you have some godlike thing going on where you're giving them a 180 on their entire life. You are moving the needle in the right direction. And let me tell you something. Who wouldn't pay someone to be 10% more successful in their business, 10% more energy, 10% more peace, 10% healthier? So don't put that pressure on yourself that it has to be some all or nothing thing. Your messaging should focus on benefits and outcomes, not just the features, and avoid generic, over-promising, or only negative messaging that doesn't offer a solution. Read all your shit out loud and only write stuff and say stuff that would appeal to you if you were on the other end. How do you like someone to explain and share an offer with you? Trust that that's how your ideal client wants it too. You guys like it when I shoot it to you straight. Like, I love you. Here's what's up. This is straightforward, cutting out the fluff. This is what we got to do. And then using a lot of humor in between. Because if we're not having fun, then what is the point of doing all this? There is no point. The more fun we have, the more money we make. As I'm sitting here staring at myself wearing a ZFG hat, 0 fucks given. And as always, 0 fucks given in your messaging too, because a lot of you are kind of gatekeeping and have a filter in your messaging because you don't want to be so direct, because you don't want to offend or scare off anybody. But by playing it too safe in your messaging, you're actually repelling your ideal clients. You're connecting to no one because you're trying to appeal to everyone. Go grab your damn spot for my one-time only live training event on August 28th. This is where we're turning your offers into must-haves instead of people going, oh, I'll do it someday when I have more time, when I have more money. Fuck that. They need it now. And in order for them to understand that they need it now, it has to be packaged and positioned in a certain way. And this does not need to take a crap ton of effort. You'll see in the live training, how we're just making some shifts and some adjustments and it'll click. And this episode paired with doing that live training, plus, of course, like binging my stuff, is going to get you there much faster. You have a choice, right? How you want to get to bringing in all of the money, all the clients, being able to stack that cash and not be dependent on you trading all of your time and energy for it. You can take a train to get to that land. You can take a fucking canoe. You can take a yacht. You could take a plane. There's a lot of different ways to get from LA to Mexico, as I say. And if you want to get there faster and in a more comfortable fashion, you do have to spend more money, right? You have to work with me on a higher level. And the mastermind is the highest level way to work with me right now. And so if you're in a spot where you've already been canoeing it away and you're like, my arms are tired and I am nowhere near Mexico and I cannot have this, I am not missing out on prime time money making season, then you know what to do. Final hours for the pre-launch sale of $1,000 off my 2-day mastermind experience, projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. All the links are inside the show notes. Swipe up, go to the description on YouTube, Project Me TV, my Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. You know what to do. Make a damn move. Let's go. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you.